Hi, H. Okay, so if you don't know, now you know. This is Elements of Spirit. I had the most insane day yesterday. In which I had the most insane day yesterday in which I cried for like 9.5 hours straight. And currently, yeah, this is fun. I cried for like 9 hours straight. The whole day flew by, and I was like, what the fuck is going on? My read is that it's the Pisces full moon, which is approaching, and we're also about to hit Mercury retrograde tomorrow. So once I knew that I couldn't do the readings yesterday because I was in a puddle of goo on the floor, I decided, okay, let's switch it up. And for the sake of Mercury retrograde, let's do something totally crazy in a different format, and let's live stream the Elements of Spirit readings. Elements of Spirit are free weekly readings through the elements of earth, air, water, fire, and ether from ediblespirits.com and from me, Michael Domitrovich. Oh, Pisces, I know, girl. It's so much. So what I do is I'm going to give you a reading for the ether. Thanks, babe. I'm going to give you a reading for the ether first, and then readings for air, fire, water, and earth. Each of the readings will have a affirmation with it, which you can use either as like a guided meditation, not a guided meditation, as a meditation, like you set a timer and you just contemplate and meditate on that affirmation, or you can just keep it on a Post-it or in your phone. Sometimes I like to, I told the client this, to send like a reminder to your phone of whatever the affirmation is for that week. And so each of the readings has an affirmation with it. And when you take the ether reading and combine it with the element, your primary element, which is associated with your sun sign, those two things together will give you your elements of spirit. So we'll do the ether first, and then we'll do air, which is Libra, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. Then we'll do fire, which is Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Then we'll do water, which is Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. Then we'll do earth, which is Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. And we'll talk about it as we go along. These are channeled readings, so I don't know what's going to happen beforehand. That's why it takes me a second every once in a while to get some stuff popping off. Yes, Leo is up, Pisces is in, everyone's coming together. Yeah, we're almost at the end of Leo. Okay, so you guys are going to see how this works. We get to just go nuts. We can close our eyes, and if you'd like to, you can close your eyes with me and take a deep breath into your nose. And out your mouth. Okay, we're tuning into the ether first. Okay, so the ether shows this flood coming in from the left, coming in from the past, flood coming in from the past. And what's interesting is that it's not water, it's not emotional. It's not emotional. Ether is actually saying it's an ether, it's existential. And whoa, fun. Of course, the elements and my guides are going to make me do this on the day that we're first doing a live stream. It used to happen that when I would do readings for people and I would be like, extraterrestrials are weird, we're not going to talk about them, then I would end up having to like do a whole reading about ET energy and entities. Existential, extraterrestrial. Okay, so there's a lot of people who really wish that we would get some Roswellian creatures to come down from above and save us and fix all the problems. But most likely it's not going to work that way. We are human bodies. 3 chakras above, 3 chakras below, heart chakra in the middle, are transmuters and transducers and transmitters and absorbers of all sorts of energy. physical energy in food and whatever, emotional energy in liquids, right, and drinks and emotions, mental energy, the thoughts and the remember the power of water, right, the magical ways of water, where if you put that word, I forget the doctor's name, cool doctor, if you put the picture or sticker on the water that says like hate, then the water goes, and if you put a picture or sticker on the water that says faboosh, then the water, has fireworks coming out of its pussy, right? Everything's great with the water. So that's mental energy, right? And then when we get into spiritual energy, we're really talking about like love, evolution, change, meaning, right? Spiritual energy is meaning, whatever happens in your life that gives you experience and that gives you a sense of significance and a sense of things coming together is like meaning. But then, and those are connected with earth, air, water, and fire. But the way that this read is coming in is there's a flood of stuff that is etheric in quality. And so the body is actually also processing all sorts of cosmic shit that we don't even know about. Really cool story. I was reading this thing, I think it was in National Geographic, about a cyborg, a guy who got this thing implanted into his brain so that he could pick up non-visible light from the spectrum, so ultraviolet and infrared light. And it has like a little motor in his brain, so that if he's looking at something ultraviolet or depending on what he's looking at, he's colorblind. So depending on what he's looking at, the vibration in his frickin' skull will tell him how what color he's looking at, and he can see colors that are outside of the non-ordinary spectrum, or the non-visible spectrum, the visible spectrum of light. So the idea is that we are always absorbing, processing, and emitting these beams and rays. And yeah, like we think we're having all these experiences, but maybe our souls, our light bodies are actually just like processing stuff. Love this, because this makes sense about the shit that's been going down with me in the last few days too. There's a flood from the past of water, non-emotional, etheric, existential, even borderline extraterrestrial information and experience coming in that feels like it's crashing on us like a wave from the past. And they're reminding us these tides ebb and flow. Tides ebb and flow. They come in and crash out. And when we talk about ET, extraterrestrial energy, I can't tell you, like I haven't, in Montauk I saw one once, but I can't prove it to you because I didn't take a picture. I just know who I saw it with. So the idea would be, my read for ET energy is that like, it doesn't really mean much unless it means something major to you. If you ever like look into different galaxies, galactic forms of consciousness, and you inquire like what is a Pleiadian versus what is a Sirian versus what is someone from the Orion galaxy or whatever, there's different qualities. And the idea is that if we do have extraterrestrial brethren and sistren, it's possible, sure, that they're humanoid, but it's much more likely that they're vibrational, and that if they are some sort of mass advanced race civilization that's been in the solar system or in the universe for way longer than us, maybe they don't need meat sacks in order to communicate. Maybe they've learned as much as they could about loving through meat sacks in a previous incarnation, and now they're attempting to learn more rarefied and refined expressions of love, aka service, right? AKA like, let's not fucking kill each other, right? AKA like, oh, you're like ultra green and you're like gold with flecks of like Martian red orange in it. We're cool because we're all from the same creator, right? We as a people haven't learned that yet. And the idea is that when people learn, or when entities, or when groups, or when races of beings learn everything that they need to learn on one planet, they don't fucking need to be there anymore. They go somewhere else, or their vibration rises to the point where they don't even need to be anywhere. Maybe they exist as like a group consciousness. And then that group consciousness would go on and learn more and more and more rarefied information about whatever it is their specialité. So Venusians learn about, beauty and deliciousness. Think about the associations that we have with those planets too. Martians, I think, learned about war many years ago, and then they were extincted, and now they give us fire. Anyway, I'm channeling, so we're talking about the way in which the planets and the aliens and the beings that may be the aliens that are on those planets are zooming at us with these cosmic rays. So that's my point. I don't need you to believe that there's Martians somewhere trying to communicate with us. But if they were, my feeling is that, and what I've experienced a couple times, okay, is that they're really just trying to beam through these really rarefied, high energy packets of information that give us stuff that maybe we didn't have, or that maybe we forgot, or that maybe because of all of the misery and pain and violence and hatred, the frequency war, right, against love and light might be winning, and we kind of forget. Which brings me back to the ether. Okay. So there's this wave crashing from the past, not water, not emotions. It's not, it's etheric, it's existential. These are cosmic rays. These are rays that are coded with wake the fuck up, right? Rays that are coded with more love now. What are the rays coded with this week? Ether says, and this is what's coming from the ET. Great, we need this. Change or die, right? Float or sink. And when you float, throw someone a raft. So last week was all about prayer, right? Last week's Elements of Spirit was all about prayer. And what's so trippy about this is prayer's great. Prayer feels great for us and feels great for the other person. And prayer last week was all about shifting the vibe of whatever shitstorm or water storm or firestorm, Burbank, is hitting you. It was about how can we use the power of prayer, or the power of focusing our attention and intention through prayer, to shift the vibes of everything around us and of ourselves. Right now, we need to all pray the same prayer. We need so much more prayer. And that's the thing. If we as a race of beings could all focus on the same prayer at the same time, and let's just say that prayer was, I do solemnly swear to take care of everyone else on the fucking planet before I worry about myself, right? If we could all just agree on that consensual prayer, guess what? There's no more environmental damage, and nobody's killing each other anymore, and nobody's being selfish and stepping on other one's skulls to get to where they need to go, because here, you can have my skull, you can have the brain inside of my skull, you can have the meat inside of my sack, and then you can do whatever else you need to do with that. So the idea here is that we're being beamed in through the ether with information and experience, which is meant to illuminate us and lift us up in this way of change or die, float or sink. And when you float, throw someone a fucking raft, right? That's what's coming in to crash. But here's the thing. It's coming in like emotional overwhelmment. It's coming in like a tidal wave. But it's not water. It's not going to make you drown. It's light. It's light. It's consciousness. It's spirit. It's gamma rays. It's cosmic rays. And it's meant to lift you up. Picture, if you will, your, heart pumping, pulsing human body lying prone on a table. What this tidal wave of light wants to do is crash onto your body, and in the crashing on the body, to cause all of the dead, sinky, unchanging, unhelpful, self-serving, me, what about me, what about me, what about me, what about me? It wants to take all of those hungry and thirsty little fucking cells in your body and make them crash away, make them melt away. And what emerges from that light wave is your spirit, is your beautiful, beautiful, beautiful free self lifting up out of that muck. That's the way it shows. So prone body, light wave crashes. Blah. Yeah. Yeah. Ego falls away. Ego melts away. Light body emerges. And yet it feels like you're stewing in a custom built pot made for your body, filled with your own shit. Right? That's what it feels like. Yay, healing. Oh, yes, light wave crashes. I got a little comment from my girl, Harriet. An old mother dies. Okay, so here's the thing. So that crash comes in, it's welling up. Oh, yeah. Ooh, guys, we're going to get very, very creative this week. This is going to be great. I'm lying. Very artsy this week, y'all. Wow. Okay, cool. I love it. To you and you and you and you and you. Yeah, and especially you. Okay. Affirmation for the ether this week. It's actually a little bit more of a guided meditation kind of vibe. Because there's a little visualization in it, okay? So the ether. I am lying on a beach of my history, littered with the wreckage of my pain, our pain. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. I offer this freedom to you. Okay, so it's a long one this week. It's mouthy. Now, so the idea is that this affirmation, I am lying on a beach of my history, littered with the wreckage of my pain, our pain. So it's your history. It's all of our pain. You are not alone in your pain. Whatever hurts you. Look, if there's no new songs, there's no new pain. You know, like there's only one wound. There's only one trauma, right? So I'm lying on a beach of my history, littered with the wreckage of my pain, our pain. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. I offer this freedom to you. And that you is either you or someone else. This is opening up like a very dreamy space. And my feeling is, you guys, is that like this is a little more interactive than there's going to be a little more visualization, because I want you to imagine the waves crashing over you with breath. Because if you cue yourself to allow the waves to crash over you, you're giving permission to the ET brethren and sistren, should they be crashing you with waves of cosmic light, to let those waves melt your pain away and allow your spirit to lighten and release. One little word about the shadow, too, and about the stuff that can kind of get stirred up by an affirmation like this is, if you don't know what fucking freaks you out, if you don't know, where your darkness is, this kind of cosmic light wave coming in from the ether, coming in from all that is, could be harrowing and terrifying. Yes, I am saving this. Don't you worry. And I'm also, everyone, I'm also going to take these and chop them up and put them on YouTube. This is just the first time we're trying to do them live. So thank you all for tuning in. Okay. So yeah, the more you visualize those waves of light crashing over your body, it might dislodge stuff that you thought you didn't need to deal with. right? Or that didn't need to be expressed. When it comes up, I needed someone to tell me this yesterday. When it comes up, when the waves crash and the shit melts away and your light comes up, it throws that shadow into relief. It makes it darker. It makes it stronger. And if you don't remember that it's just your shadow, you can forget really easily that it's not you, that it's not all that you are. So just know, I never know what's going to come through this week. There's a lot of invisible help all around us that I happen to be allowed to make a living encouraging and supporting people and connecting to those invisible helpers outside of and within ourselves. So if you think I have any idea what I'm talking about, just consider that this week might be weird and wonderful, because I think there's help that's trying to come through to us. And if you're watching the news 24/7, if you are in a physically dangerous situation, if you are flooding or burning, or if any shit is going down, it's gonna be really hard to imagine light waves crashing over your body. If I have anything to do with it within a little while, it might not be so weird, right, to say that. People might actually understand why that could work. But until everybody else can chill, and until we can deal with our shit enough so that everybody is able to visualize extraterrestrial light waves purifying their cosmic bodies so that their light bodies can emerge and not be so confined by the shackles of the ego, you can do it. I can do it. We can do it. And it can help. And that's the other part about this, is that if you do this, this is all energetic maintenance. This is all stuff that's being given to us so that we can then come back into our meat sacks and take some practical actions to send money, to call representatives, to go outside of your house and help someone who maybe isn't in the 9 alarm crisis, right, but is actually just in a 3 or 4 alarm crisis, right? Instead of an entire city or community that's been ravaged, maybe there's just a little place near you that has been ravaged or that needs some of your love. This kind of meditation, affirmation: I'm lying on a beach of my history, littered with the wreckage of my pain, our pain. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. I offer this freedom to you. Someone in the comments over here, too, shortened it. I am lying on a beach of my history. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. I offer this freedom to you. They give it to me in these ways for interesting ways, and especially when repetition comes through, there's usually a good reason. And I'm also saying the cosmic waves crashing. Everyone is trying to get this cosmic deliciousness crashing on top of ourselves. It's available based on what's going on in the skies, based on what's going on in the world. And there's part of that in here, which is remember, no matter what is going on out there, all of us are being crashed with cosmic waves. All of the shit is dying. All of the shadow is coming out. All of the misery and pain is littering the beaches so that we can look at it and kiss it and say, thank you for teaching me. Get the fuck along. Let's get some more of the unity. Let's get some more of the love. Let's get some more of the light. I'm lying on a beach of my history, littered with the wreckage of my pain, our pain. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. I offer this freedom to you. And now, usually I would take a break here, have a sip of water, something along those lines, but we're just going to keep going right into the air readings. Let's see. This is on here. We're at 23:47. Ooh, fun. Okay. And we're going to go into air. So I just will light a little bit of this air element. We've got our sage. Our sage. Some sage. And we're going to sage a little bit of me. This is for the channel. Sage a little bit of you. And a little bit of you. Okay. And then okay, it's so funny. You can't hug a tree with your heart. You can love it. You need arms. Okay. You need arms. So you need arms to hug a tree. Now listen. You know this is not coming from me. You know this is channeled because I, Michael, believe you can hug a tree without your arms. Because I have agency on the astral plane. So if I want to hug a tree, I have a tree out there, right there. It's spiky, right? It's spiky, but oops, sorry. But I can hug it. Wait, not while I'm fixing my phone. I mean, if I had meditated longer this morning, I'd be able to hug the tree and fix my phone. Don't leave me, Insta. I couldn't find my tripod this morning. Okay. Back into the air channel. Yeah, you need arms to hug a tree. Okay. So on the astral, you can imagine yourself doing whatever the fuck you want, right? Yeah, it was. You can imagine yourself doing whatever you want. You can imagine yourself hugging the tree, humping the tree, like licking the tree. Whatever you want to do to the tree, you can do to the tree as long as you're not violating the tree's free will on the astral. Okay, we're going to nip this one in the bud. But if you were to just approach the tree with your heart, you'd be loving the tree. You'd be saying, "What up, tree? I love you. I am hugging you." But in order to actually hug the tree on the three-dimensional plane, you gotta use your arms because that's what a hug is, okay? So the idea is you want to be... Oh, and then in terms of the healing, in terms of the practice, the way that the body tends to speak to me is that we're talking about the heart as that which holds the standard of love/truth, and even just priorities, right? Priorities. And that, good intentions are awesome, y'all. Good intentions. This is, again, why we're not just talking about the power of prayer this week. Because good intentions rock. They're great. We love good intentions. But it's the arms which actually express the intention of the heart. Okay, so that's what's behind this message. Good intentions rock, but the arms make them manifest, right? The feet, right, will get you where you need to go. The legs will hold you up. The hips will, articulate the flow of the pumping of fluids and muscles and motions in your body, but that's more water. But the arms will make the intentions of the heart manifest. This is why you need arms to hug a tree. And again, last week they broke it down for us with if you're not fighting hatred with love, if you're not fighting violence with unity, if you're not fighting external toxicity or internal toxicity, then you're not fighting. Okay? So we don't need to fight with fists and guns. We can fight with love and hearts and most importantly, communication. Expression of yourself, really just like doing you without messing with anyone else is these days. Doing you without messing with anyone else. No, would even be a political statement if you were just an angry white man, right? If you were, I was gonna say I realized well, basically anyone who's not a white man, right, is a living, breathing political statement if they choose to be. But if you're a white man who's consciously not harming anyone, that seems to be a pretty political statement to me as well. Okay. Point is, good intentions rock, but arms make them manifest. If you guys have all of the good intentions in the world, air element. This is for what's it called? Libra, Aquarius, and Gemini. The idea here is that you guys have to do something regarding the toxicity, inner or outer. Okay, so Ooh, love this. Okay. Oh, no, mama. My mom's calling me. Okay. Air signs. This is great. I articulate that which feeds my anger. And take practical steps to engage it. No, it's not engage. That's what I was struggling with. There's a different word here. Got it. Transmute it. Okay, great. So transmute it, transform it. Is it transform or transmute? It's transmute. Okay, great. I articulate that which feeds my anger and take practical steps to transmute it. Articulate that which feeds my anger. No, it's not. It's not transmute, you guys. It's transform. So what's really cool about this is you're getting something similar to what happened with the earth element last week. Was just like, doesn't fucking matter what you do, just before the end of the week, you got to do something. You can't talk about it. And any of you earth beings that are out there that are listening to this, think about it. Did you do what you said you were going to do last week? If you did, you probably feel great. If you didn't, you probably feel less great. These are windows, these are opportunities, these are paths of least resistance. So in your case, I articulate that which feeds my anger and take practical steps to transform it. So you don't actually need to manifest, right? In this case, you don't have to achieve the thing, which is what the earth reading was about last week. It was about you got to do the thing to change the thing, and like do it, or else it's not going to get done. In this case, you guys are supposed to articulate, aka write down something which is feeding your anger. So not just something you're pissed about, but something that's feeding your anger. The way that bitch does this thing, or the way that whole group of people are talking about this problem. It feeds my anger. Great example, Housewife fans. Carol Radziwill, my favorite, Radzi. She became like a crazy cat lady this year because of all of the stuff that was going on with the election. And, it happens that like you can be so overwhelmed by the stuff that's coming through you, by the way in which you're processing those cosmic rays, that it never actually occurs to you and if you're outside of the process of an election too, you don't necessarily know what you're supposed to do or how to do what you need to do in order to address the fuel that's feeding your ire. And if you don't do something to purge it, if you don't do something to express it, that fuel burns you out. Fire signs, you guys know what we're talking about here. This is what it feels like to be a fire sign. It's like, manage power management, basically. Everything is changing all the time. So how am I going to ride that wave? In this case, it's saying you have to take a practical step to transform it. You have to take a practical step to actually change something, to do something. So the practical step is the part that's very earthy. But what are we changing? This is when we get into elements of spirit deep. We combine these two together. I am lying on a beach of my history, littered with the wreckage of my pain, our pain. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. I offer this freedom to you. So I am lying on a beach of my history. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer my freedom to you. I offer my freedom to you. So we're going for freedom. We're all going for freedom. We want these waves to crash over us and release delicious stuff that feels freer than whatever's being washed away. Chances are, like I said back in the ether reading, this is not going to feel great. This is not going to feel fantastic. This is probably going to feel kind of harrowing, because the ether reading was talking about this wave of existential light crashing on us, urging us, compelling us to to do, not do better, encouraging us, compelling us to love better and in a more refined and clear way. You can't pretend like it's okay to be an asshole anymore. Like, don't you get that, guys? Like, it is possible in this great country, in this great world, to do your thing without fucking up other people's lives. Like, there's so many things these days where I'm just like, you don't get to have an opinion about that anymore. Like, actually, nobody gets to have an opinion about that anymore. And so the idea is that that's why we're being juiced. That's why these cosmic waves are breaking onto us. They're breaking onto us so that we can see the whole stupid argument more clearly and be like, actually, no, I'm pretty sure the answer is more love. But I'm not a fucking cheesy hippie. I'm pretty sure the answer is more love, and now we're going to have a logical conversation about how to jam more love into this jacked up situation. But right now, we're not there yet. We're not into the conversation yet. We're still dealing with the effects of the eclipse and with all of the chaos from Mercury retrograde and the eclipse cycles before that. Everything is kind of popping off. And as we shift into tomorrow, into Tuesday, we're going to hit that full moon in Pisces, which is going to bring in just a lot of big, deep, dissolving emotional energy. So much energy that makes us remember we're all in this soup of existence together. We're all one. And then Mercury retrograde ends, new information comes out, and all of the confusion from the last several weeks, all of this intense experience that's been occurring, and what am I supposed to be learning from this, pops off in a delicious way. Okay, so this brings me back to the air affirmation. I articulate that which feeds my anger and take practical steps to transform it. Transmute, it's okay. The idea is transmutation takes it from the basest elements and turns it into the most refined elements. If you feel like you have that in you, I know, I'm sorry, I need a hair tie, but I don't want to stop. I'm in the middle of the channel. If you don't have it in you to transmute everything into light, just do something to change it. Just do something to transform it. So transmute it if you can. Transform it is enough for right now, because like I said, we're in the midst of healing, in the midst of all of these changes, in the midst of, eclipses initiating this boosh, this big dose of change, this big paradigm shift kind of all at once. And then we go through this process of coming up to speed with all of the changes that have occurred internally, waiting for them to manifest without. So the idea is that the ether is going to be washing you with these cosmic waves this week, maybe making it feel like the shadow material is coming up. But the idea is that the shadow material is just coming up so that you can articulate. The shadow material is probably going to have a stank of anger on it for you air signs. The shadow material coming up, I articulate that which feeds my anger and take practical steps to transform it. I do something to change that which is making me angry, either internally, externally through a relationship, or bigger beyond or externally. If you are one of my beloved friends, I'm thinking of one person right now whose heart breaks for the animals, right? Houston needs you right now, right? Like, there's probably animals that need you all the time. The idea is that this week is a perfect time to acknowledge the fact that when the cosmic waves of light break over your body, you're left with pains of save the animals. And if you can articulate that which feeds your anger and take practical steps to transform it, you're going to do something that makes you feel better, because you're picking up pain that maybe the people who are underwater don't have time to pause and meditate on. Okay? Mwah! Love it. That's the air reading for the week. That was the year we knew the panic was over, and we still found out anything can happen. Anything can happen. Okay, this is air, and now we're at love it. Thank you guys for bearing with me. This is fun. Now we're going to go into fire. Okay. Wow. Okay, we love this. Fire, brethren and sistren. Yeah. Yes, here we go. Okay. Okay. So, message: the reward of your burns and scarring and ouchies is more love. Find and feel that love. Drink that love. Guzzle that love. Last week, the water signs had this fun thing. I'm going to rock it down. Last week, the water signs had this fun thing of mainlining pleasure is okay, because, you know, the only thing I feel more guilty about than causing pain is actually enjoying stuff. So I got this delicious message from the water last week, which was like more pleasure. Cultivate this pleasure so that everyone who can't cultivate this pleasure can feel this pleasure. And last week when I was drowning in teacups while other people were flooding, I was like, oh, right, power of prayer and cultivate pleasure, because I'm not actually in a crisis situation right now. So I won't feel guilty about cultivating pleasure, enjoyment, and sharing it and spreading the love and keeping my vibe high, even if I didn't really feel high. Okay. So the difference with you guys is there's this beautiful image of like your spine, of your chakras, and in between all of those discs on the spine, there are like those little like hearts, like the hearts from liking, right? From liking, the hearts. And every time you twist your spine, every time like a scab pops off of your skin, every time some fucking second, third degree burn itches and you scratch it and like ugh, and like it weeps, right? They're little like hearts coming out. They're little love bubbles coming out. So have you been feeling like you were being burned alive for the last week? The idea is every scream, every ecstatic ah is actually trying to release love. And guess what? It's not love about something. It's not love about you. It's not love. It could be love, self-love, but the idea is that it's not. When it's released, it's pure love. It's unconditional love. If you fire signs feel like it this week, you can ride on waves of love. I mean, I guess we can all do it all week, all the time, but it's going to be very easy for you this week because they're trying to contextualize that all of the tender, tight skin, every time you pick one of those scabs or like peel one of those things off, like hearts come out of it. Love comes out of it. And it's not love about the wound. It's not love about your family or your partner. It's really just love. It's that, connection, unity, connection. And that ties us back to the ether reading, which was all about waves of ether, waves of cosmic rays crashing over our crusty, calcified bodies, washing away whatever doesn't need to be there, allowing the love self, the light body to emerge from out of there. And the idea is that as that happens for you, it's probably going to make your skin feel tight. Like we said, you might feel like you're having emotional flashbacks, like really, you guys, like you're actually being subjected to former baptisms by fire. Like you're being made to revisit and re-experience feelings of tightness, even just in your physical body. But I'm reading it as your whole being. So tightness in your physical body, tightness in your emotional body, tightness in your mental body. So restricted emotions, restricted understandings or thoughts or beliefs about yourself, and then just an overall general feeling of restriction in the body. All fair game right now. But they're saying that's how you know the cosmic rays are being effective on you. That's how you know the cosmic rays are working, is that you feel tighter. But if you relax and even, now you see how this works, use the ether affirmation. I am lying on a beach of my history. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. I offer this freedom to you yourself, to you, someone that you're visualizing, to you, the world at large. Do this, cycle through this for the benefit of all of us. And that's where we get into, when you pick these scabs, when you allow yourself to have these experiences, you're releasing more love that doesn't fucking need anywhere to land. That's just love that you've got in your heart. I thought the other day that I was like a trauma hoarder, that I hoard like pain from my past. I think I might be, but I think I also might be a love hoarder. I save it for those moments when someone needs a lot of it, so we could share it all. Or maybe I just hoard the love because I feel so lucky. Okay, in your case, you don't have to hoard love. Beneath every single scar, beneath every single piece of pain, beneath every single piece of discomfort, there's more unconditional love for you. You can do it right now. Scanning your body from the top to the bottom. Breathing in and breathing out. I'm looking for, where's the tightest place in my body right now? Where is the tightest place in my body right now? Okay, there it is. It's in my knee, in my left IT band, and in my left hip, because I did a little booty shaking. I did a little dancing last night. So that leg is physically tight, but let's just see what love is in there and what wants to be picked. Aww. So I had an injury when I was 14 and I fell down the stairs and nobody cared. Nobody took me to the ER. And so what they're saying is, they're actually saying that this wound in here, or what that wound was saying to me, is that this wound conceals or holds those feelings of not being seen and those feelings of being physically invisible. And guess what? It made me smile and light up right away, because I recognize I'm in a situation where I'm talking to you guys about about the part of myself that's concealed in an injury, that feels invisible, or that feels like it wasn't seen. But guess what? I see you, you see me, we see each other, so it's being seen. And that feeling of like, oh, that doesn't suck. Oh, that's not violence, hatred, or internal or external toxicity. That's love that came out of a scar. I don't know what I'm going to do with that, but I know it's there. I do know what I'm going to do with that if I'm a fire sign. I'm going to guzzle that fucking love. I'm going to drink the love. I'm going to mainline the love. The love. I'm not going to cheat myself out of it. I'm not going to be stingy about enjoying it. Okay. Fun. Affirmation for you guys this week. Keeps it really fresh, really bright, really light. Freedom is a gift to be shared the moment I recognize it. Freedom is a gift to be shared the moment I recognize it. Freedom is a gift to be shared the moment I recognize it. Freedom is a gift to be shared the moment I recognize it. The instant you feel a little bit of light, tell someone, write it down, share it, broadcast it. Freedom is a gift to be shared the moment I recognize it. okay? Because my feeling is like you guys are like an ice cream truck of freedom. You're like the pusher man of freedom, pusher men and women of freedom, right? And it can be meaningless. It can be stupid. You know, when I first started working as a healer and a psychic, I thought the reads that I was giving were too easy because they seemed like they were too abstract. But, you know, there was this really cool aphorism from a Hindu textbook that's all about like stare at the limitless expanse of the sky and imagine 10, you know, crystalline lenses that extend throughout that sky. And now remember that you are that sky and you are those crystalline lenses, right? And you're like, right? But then there's also like, what else? If you can't love yourself, how in the hell you can love someone else, right? There's also that, like simple little things. Don't be a dick, right? It's great advice. And maybe what you have to share based on your explorations in freedom, right? Like based on your explorations in freedom, right? Based on your willingness to let the cosmic rays wash your shit away so that you feel just a little bit lighter, so that as the pain and the scars and the scales, as you're like, oh my God, I'm so tight, I'm so tight, I'm so tight. I'm not so tight. Actually, I just feel tight because I used to feel invisible. But now I've shared this visibility with you, and you know what I can say that I didn't know before? The sharing of freedom from pain feels great. And it helps. Because if someone can see you rising above your pain, they can remember that it's possible. Freedom is a gift to be shared the moment I recognize it. The moment I recognize it. The moment I recognize it. Literally, the moment you recognize it. Someone once said to me, a psychic once said to me, save all your notebooks, Michael, because they'll be important someday. And I was like, ooh, don't tell me to hoard a notebook. But I'm telling you to hoard your freedom this week. Hoard it and share it. Freedom is a gift to be shared the moment I recognize it. So if you're sharing it, you're not really hoarding it, but store it and share it. Squirrel it away and share it. So that affirmation once more. Freedom is a gift to be shared the moment I recognize it. Mwah. That's your fire for the week. Okay. This is about right. This is about how long it takes me to do it. It usually takes me like an hour and a half to do these. I think we'll be under that because I can take a break and drink some coffee and pee and whatever. But for now, we're just going to keep going. What does the water say? Ooh, so fun. So my guides are filling my mind. This is my guides because the ether doesn't usually talk through, the elements don't usually talk to me through the images. It's more so like the switchboard operator, switchboard operators of my guides that will kind of show me the way that the channel from the water is coming through. Then my guides will be like, but think about it like this, talk about it like this, because they're using a language that they know I'll understand, as opposed to the water, which might just be going floosh, floosh. That's what water sounds like to me. Okay. So they're giving me Florence and the Machine. So what's funny is that I actually saw this one video first, then heard a different lyric, and then heard the lyric that actually goes with the video. So we'll see how it happens. Okay. Never let me go. Let me know. And then go lyric. So the image was again of this flood, and the reminder is that from the ether they showed this flood crashing in from the left, crashing in from the past, reminding us that it's not actually just emotional flooding. It's existential flooding, it's experiential flooding, it's cosmic flooding, solar flooding. And the affirmation was, I'm lying on a beach of my history, littered with the wreckage of my pain, our pain. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. I offer this freedom to you. Cosmic waves crashing on my face. Cosmic waves crashing on my face. Never Let Me Go it's like takes place in this ice hockey rink, and Florence is looking all like sea nymph creature, whatever, and she's ice skating and it's beautiful, but bloosh, there was just floods coming in. So that's the initial part of this. Lay me down, let the only sound be the overflow, pockets full of stones, pockets full of stones. So what's funny is that the ether is saying, let the waves crash over us and wash away whatever we don't need, and let the light body rise up. The water is saying, put stones in your pockets, don't try to swim. Remember that it is also water and you can breathe underwater. So do not fight the current. Ooh, yes. Okay, and we got an affirmation. I love it. I fearlessly ride the currents of my emotions as they ebb and flow until they find their ideal balance. So the idea is we are going to be water babies. This has to do with the Pisces full moon that's coming up on Tuesday, and with all the information that's going to be released as Mercury retrograde, or Mercury stations direct, I think before... Can't remember. No, it might be a Wednesday morning. If anyone remembers or can Google it, put it in the comments so that I can tell you. So the idea is do not fight the current, and then we get into the other lyric of Florence and the Machine. Never let me go, never let me go, never let me go, never let me go. And the arms of the ocean are carrying me, and all this devotion comes rushing out of me, and it crushes the head. Something like that. Okay. So, ooh, fun. Okay, great. So the idea is lay me down, let the only sound be the overflow. So we're welcoming this flood of emotions and remembering you can breathe. You don't need to swim against the current. You don't need to fight it. And even more so, because Pisces full moon is like the whole flood of the ocean, I fearlessly ride the currents of my emotions as they ebb and flow. They're going to ebb and flow like the tides of the ether, like the tides of the cosmic waves crashing. Ride them as they ebb and flow until they find their ideal balance. So here's my read. If at any point you feel emotionally overwhelmed, or if you have a tendency towards emotional overwhelmment, or if you are a water sign or have water in your chart, like a lot of water in your chart, and have ever feared for your emotional stability, balance, or safety, be careful, because this is the kind of week where it gets very overwhelming and intense and crazy. I actually, no shit, cried for 9.5 hours yesterday. I couldn't believe that happened. And I guess in hindsight, I fought it 50-50. If I had had this affirmation, I wouldn't have fought it. I would have gone, oh, right. I wanted to be lying face down on the floor. I would have just stayed on the floor with empowerment, knowing that I was, doing my elements of spirit for the week. I fearlessly ride the currents of my emotions as they ebb and flow until they find their ideal balance. So really, if you need any emotional help this week, don't be proud. Don't be stubborn. Get it. Talk to your friends, talk to a professional, talk to someone who can help and who is qualified to help, right? This is the kind of week that brings a lot of emotional overwhelmment for all of us water signs. So just be good to yourself, be gentle with yourself, but be strong with your self-care. Be firm and resolute in your self-care. That would be my idea, my encouragement, my suggestion. Hang on, guys. Sorry. And then the thing would be is that you're not really going to do much by trying to control the tides. So this is why I'm encouraging you to get help if you need help. Let's just see. Sorry. Just. Sorry, just waiting for the Insta. So I'm saying it's probably going to be the kind of week where you, if you were to need support, professional support or relational support, emotional support of some kind, if you were to need it, this would be the week where you would need it. And so the idea here is what I'm about to say that's coming from the element of water is that the tides are going to rise, but even when there's a flood, the tides still come in and go out. So the idea would be is that if you try to paddle backwards, or if you try to reverse, or if you try to make a U-turn, you're going to be wasting a butt ton of energy. You're going to be wasting so much energy this week. There's no reason to do it like that. There's no reason to fight the currents unless you feel physically or emotionally in danger or really unsupported. Then don't ride the currents. Get out of the canoe and get some help. But if you are feeling brave, or if you have this emotional support around you, or if you're feeling stable enough, strong enough, balanced enough to see where these emotions lead you, it would be the example of saying, okay, if you need to lie on the floor for 9 hours and you have that available to you, do it. Because where you end up at the end of those 9 hours is probably going to be really fascinating. It's probably going to have a lot of information in there. So that's what I would say. It's like, you want to ride the ebb and flow, knowing that eventually the ebb and flow are going to find a perfect balance. And it might not happen right away. So that's what I mean is that if you start to feel unstable while waiting for that perfect balance to find itself, don't be stubborn. Get some help. Ask for a resource. I fearlessly ride the currents of my emotions as they ebb and flow until they find their ideal balance. So yeah, again, I think that's it. I'm not going to repeat myself. Yeah, it's like the crashing of the etheric cosmic waves causes lots of emotions to rise up and even overwhelm. Don't try to clear the emotions exclusively. Don't try to fight them too much. Try to let them come. Remember your water signs. You can breathe underwater. If you start to panic, get help. But otherwise, use these affirmations. I'm lying on a beach of my history. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. And I fearlessly ride the currents of my emotions as they ebb and flow until they find their ideal balance. Those are your elements of spirit for the week. We got one more left. You can usually tell if you've ever watched these readings on YouTube, they get louder and louder by the end of the series. Because they start with the ether, then do the air, then the fire, then the water. Now we're earth. By the time we get to earth, it's like maybe 5-10% Mikey, probably 90 to 95% elements of spirit, ether, elements, whatever. Okay, what does the earth have to say? Okay, now again, I'm presuming that it's not the element of earth which is giving me this read. This feels like one of my guides. Put that stick back up your ass. So it's actually they give this beautiful little like kind of baby Buddha, like cross-legged pagoda style meditator creature, and sitting on this what looks to be this like very stone / cork, like I can't even, it's like a cake stand in reverse, maybe like a spiritual butt plug. I'm sorry, but what do you want me to do? So that's old boy here sitting on this like stone / cork earth. It's very natural, so it looks like both stone, very solid, but also kind of natural organic fibers, very much earth element. And it's saying, be a stick in the mud. Be a stick in the mud this week. You did good last week, so this week do less. Do less, sit still. You guys are going to be so good with this because it's so interesting. So that was the ether coming in also. Ether saying, do less, sit still, less, sit still. Be a boulder, and because they're giving those like etheric waves crashing onto from the past. What they're basically saying here is like, you guys, this is for Capricorn, Taurus, and Virgo. You guys like, you don't need to fuck around with the vibes right now. You don't need to fuck around with the ether. You don't need to mess around with you don't need to mess around with any of this. Whatever's going on, let it make you more who you are. Let this time make you more you. It's really like, I have like all of my best bros are Capricorns, right? And a few new sisters that are Taurians. And one of my dearest bros is just surrounded by Virgo season. There's so much Virgo popping off. I'm Virgo rising. Okay, my point is that like, we're not known for being the most changeable of creatures in that respect. It's a very it can be a very stubborn element because it is what it is, and all of the complications and problems that usually arise for the Earth creatures is from overcomplicating things, not undercomplicating them, right? Making them more complicated than they need to be because they can't believe just how simple it actually is or could be. So the idea is be a stick in the mud. Do less, sit still, be a boulder. I don't think that it was a bad thing that you didn't have a stick in your ass last week. I think it was actually good. I think you had to get it out. You had to do something. You had to make something happen, make something transpire, make something come to pass. The difference now is that you don't need to make anything happen. You need to get through this moment. You need to get through the cosmic surge waves that are breaking on you, the cosmic waves of light surging, breaking onto you, causing stuff to drop away and the light body to free and express itself. So the idea is that you guys actually want to let your light body chill and sit still and even heal and replenish a little bit. And the idea is that everybody else is going to be going through so much change and transformation and so much energy and stuff popping off. In your case, it's I know what I need, and more freedom, and I am free to provide. I know what I need, and I am free to provide it to myself. I am free to provide it to myself. I know what I need, and I'm free to provide it to myself. So the idea is that your ether affirmation of, I am lying on a beach of my history. Every wave brings light. Every wave brings freedom. I offer this freedom to you. I offer this freedom to you. I welcome in these cosmic waves to wash over me, to loosen and dislodge my stuff. Whatever goes away is shadow material. Whatever's ready to be released, I can just acknowledge it and let it go. But the idea is, because it's trying to inspire more and more refined expressions of love, but the idea is for you guys is that what's left doesn't need to do shit. What's left just needs to be there, to rest a little bit, to recuperate a little bit, and to be a little bit more stubborn about what you need. Don't let the outer forces dictate what you need inside. Don't let the outer forces dictate what you need outside. Let everything support and affirm that inner knowing of what you need. And let this affirmation, I know what I need, and I am free to provide it to myself. I want to say at the end of that, like, by the bucketful. Like, you can give yourself so much of what you need. Use the ether to clear away whatever's distracting you from knowing what you need, and to free up the energy that you need to give yourself what you need. Okay, I think we're done. This has been the Elements of Spirit for the week of September 4th, 2017. I am your host, Michael Domitrovich. I have one thing to tell you guys, one thing to share, which is something I realized that came to me at a meditation. I'm going to remind you wherever possible now. There is nothing more delicious than you. There is nothing more delicious than you. This is the essence of edible spirit. There is nothing ever more delicious than you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Mwah. I'm going to chop these up, section out the affirmations, repost them on YouTube. There'll be links and whatnot everywhere else. But please share this. Tell your friends. Have people follow me. I'm trying to slut myself out to the social because I want this community to be big and real, because these readings are working, and the more we talk about them with each other, the more we're going to see how we can use them and how we can support and work together as a community. Okay, I got to go. I love you. Have a beautiful day. Mwah. Bye, guys.